Hi Scorpio, this is going to be your January 2021 through December of 2021 reading. I am going to do a month by month reading followed by a love reading and then a soul journey path reading. Today I'm going to be using the Instant Tarot to do your month by month. I will clarify if need to be with surrounding cards, whatever kind of pulls at me. Just so you know, I'm going to pull all 12 months first so that you're not distracted by all the shuffling, and then we will go through them. Wow, you're getting a lot of cards. I will be posting this in late January so that you can get a feel for how the January comes up for you and see if it resonates, and hopefully it does, and you can keep watching and get some more answers to questions that you may have about this upcoming year. Otherwise, if it doesn't quite seem like it might be your reading because January is almost over, you should know if this is how your January has been so far, then you can go check your rising sign, which hopefully I'll have posted in a few days. And that will probably be a better fit for you at this time. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're going to take that one. Okay, wow, that one really wanted to come out. Also, if you haven't checked out my intro video, you might want to do that. You don't have to. It's just mainly more so if you want to know more about what decks I use, the stones that I have, and kind of how I do my readings. You also see some cute puppies, so that's a bonus. Last one. Apparently you want all of these. You are a triple kind of sign today. All right, let's jump right in. We have the Eight of Swords. I'm going to go through these one by one. I won't just put them down. I want to explain it to you the best way that I can. Kind of just get it out of my head so it makes more sense to you rather than what's going on inside. So the Eight of Swords in reverse. I think you are facing a couple of different paths for this month so far. It's kind of like, I think you're confused on what direction to go because a couple of things are kind of calling you in, and I'm kind of sensing that it's kind of like deciding if I want to just be alone or if I want to be with someone else. Because from what I'm kind of picking up is this past year for you was really kind of more of a transformational year, which is essentially what your card is all about, right? You have the Death card, which is what symbolizes you in the Major Arcana. And it is a lot about transformation, letting go, starting a new cycle. And I think this is where you're starting to begin in January of, I do want to start something new, but I'm not quite sure what I want to start. You don't know what you want or what you need, and you're trying to kind of figure that out. But the universe is sending you a gift with the Ace of Pentacles. Now this means it's usually a reward of some kind, and what you also have is the 10 of Hearts, and the hearts to me also usually, it symbolizes love. It's like the Suit of Cups. And the thing is this is usually about success. So even although you have indecision, the universe is saying, it's okay. You don't really have to decide. We're going to kind of try and nudge you towards the right choice because we're going to give you this little gift. And although it'll be successful, it's going to be a little upside down for you because this is in the reverse. So it's not exactly what you're expecting. It's more so you gaining more trust in what destiny or fate or whatever you would like to call it has in store for you, that you're not going on this path alone. You have a lot of support with you, guiding you on the right path for you. Now, free will has a lot to do with this. It's not just, oh, we have a destined fate and that's exactly what's going to happen. We have a lot of choice. We do have choice. And like I tend to say, if a reading doesn't go exactly as you want it to, that's okay, because this is just what might happen. It doesn't mean this is exactly what's going to happen. We can always change it and invalidate anything by following our hearts and following the right path for us, making the best decisions that we need to make for us at that time. So January, if I can just sum that up for you to see if this is in fact your reading, you're very indecisive, but something was thrown in your way in order to make you indecisive. You weren't just like, you woke up one morning and said, oh, I don't know what to do. I was given something to choose between. Do I want to be single or do I want to stay? Or do I want to kind of go for it and possibly be in this relationship that has been thrown into my path? February, we have the 9 of Hearts. Okay. In reverse. So this is your wish was granted. So, okay, here's the thing. I think last year, maybe some of you were feeling a little lonely and you made this wish of, yes, I really would love to be with someone because it's gonna make the time, I'm so bored being in all this quarantine and I need someone to just get me and for us to connect, and I don't want to be so alone anymore. And they're giving you this wish with this Ace of Pentacles. They are granting this wish of you don't want to be alone anymore. And this isn't always a romantic relationship. It can be a friendship as well, which so far I haven't really gotten too far into it, so I can't tell, and I'll keep going and we'll get into that. But the 9 of Hearts is definitely, you're getting this wish, but it's still because it's still in reverse and you're like, well, I don't know if I want it. That's basically what this is going on about. It's this indecision between, do I want it? It's almost like, well, it's not like I really need it, but can I go with it and make the best of it? Now you also have the Hermit. So in reverse, now usually the Hermit means that you just want to go it alone. Which is funny because I feel like you definitely made a wish for not to be alone, and yet you're kind of going back on it like, well, I like being alone. I've been alone for a really long time. And it's like, well, I'm okay with it just because it's been your way of life for so long that it seems scary to turn and to do something not alone when you've learned for so long to be independent and do everything your way at your pace and all this. And so to change that seems very difficult to you to let go. And so I think you're kind of not rejecting, but pushing back a little bit on, yeah, I know I wished for that, but now I kind of don't want it. So can you take it back? And it's like, I'm not going to take it back. Why would I take that back? It's a gift. You also have the Prince of Wands in reverse for February. Now, the Prince of Wands has a lot about risk. It is risk. This is risky. Love is always risky. And even if it's a friendship, friendships can be risky as well because, you can get hurt with a friendship. You can get hurt with anything, but the thing is even if it's a risk, why not just go for it? When it's something like this, where yes, you can get hurt, but you can learn so much from it. And, there's that phrase of, it's better to love to love any rather than love no one at all. Just to have that feeling, to have the experience, to know, okay, yeah, that really, really sucked. But at least there were some parts of it that were good and that you can kind of hold on to, be like, well, yeah, this is my lowest standard now. And you can have a really great standard for the next one and just keep building on that. So it's really all about getting these kinds of experiences that the world, the universe is trying to offer you through these gifts of, you wanted it, I'm giving it to you, don't take it back. Do not take it back. Now you have the moon in reverse. And this normally is, I think you have a lot of fear. It's definitely coming off in terms of, I don't know what's going to happen. There's a lot of unknown here, and love can be really tricky. And what if this happens? And what if that happens? Well, what if it's great? Did you think about that? Because I know our fear can definitely get in the way of us. So what if everything actually turns out as it would be? Almost, I'm kind of seeing like a movie reel of, in the movies, you know, it's always that like fake kind of lovey-dovey, love at first sight doesn't really happen. But what if it actually does? Because, you know, there's definitely those stories of, yeah, I saw my wife from across the room and I just knew that that was the person I was meant to be with. How do you know this isn't that kind of love? Because sometimes we don't communicate that to ourselves. And to the other person might be afraid to communicate that to you. So this person, I think, from what I'm picking up on, is like, ooh, I'm feeling it. I like the vibe. Let's keep going. And you're like, I don't know. And then you have the Four of Wands in reverse. Now, the Four of Wands has a lot to do with celebration and completion and, you know, it's, but the thing is, it's in reverse, so you're still kind of rejecting it of, you should be celebrating that, yeah, your wish came true, but you're not, you're pushing back. And I think that's just to do with your fear of the unknown. You don't know what's going to happen. But keep with it. So I think you're still keeping with it, you're just not fully committed. Let's put it that way. You're not committed yet in March. April, Princess of Swords. Now, here, I think there's going to be something about communication, a lack thereof, of you not talking to this person about what you would like to get out of the relationship. Whether it's a friendship or a romantic one, doesn't really matter. It's more so you're not telling them your wants, your needs. You're just kind of keeping it low down, like, well, I don't want to scare them off either. Like, I just kind of want to keep going at a really slow pace to make sure that this is right for me. And they're kind of like, well, I want to keep going further and faster. And you're like, well, let's slow down, but you're not communicating that. So it's creating this kind of tension between you by April where it's, well, you're not telling me, and you're like, well, you're telling me too much. And there's not that balance there yet. So it's a little bit of push and pull here in April. In May, you have the Ten of Pentacles, which is a great card. It's a lot about creating a very firm, stable home base. Because of this, I think that even though you're having some struggles, you still have this foundation that you've built upon with this relationship. Even if it's, you know, it doesn't have to be this castle. It could be a little baby shack. It doesn't matter. But it's going to be something that's very sturdy and safe for you to go back to. It's not like you feel unsafe. I think it's just a little more of uncomfortable because you're so used to being alone that you're getting used to finally having someone else to lean on, to do activities with instead of just by your own. I mean, there's something funny because it's like, ugh, now I have to worry so much about what we're going to have for dinner. And it's like stressing you out. I can just feel this like, oh, it's kind of stressful because it's another thing that you have to decide and you don't want to be making these decisions when before it was just like, well, I'm hungry for Chipotle, so we're going to go eat Chipotle, you know? And now it's like, well, they don't want that and I don't want what they want. So now we have to come to compromise somewhere and we're going to go do this or whatever. But there's still this foundation there that's really powerful, and it's you do feel safe in this relationship, whether it be a friendship or romantic. You feel safe. June. Judgment. Okay, so with this card, which also is one of your cards, it's not just death. You have death and judgment. This is another major arcana that is yours. And I think you're in for a surprise. There's definitely something almost like possibly like a trip away. You're going to take a trip somewhere. Sorry, dogs are barking. Pay no mind to that. But I think there's definitely something about a trip here. You're definitely, and it's going to be a surprise. It's going to be something that you didn't necessarily plan. Or no, maybe you did plan it. I don't know. Someone's planning a trip, and it's going to be really fun. It's going to be... There's something in here that is an activity that kind of blows both of you away, and you're like, oh, that was so scary but so fun at the same time. Something like that, and I don't know what it is, but there's definitely a surprise here, and it's not a bad one. It's a good one. It's like, yes, I would do that 1,000 times again with you because that was so fun. So June will be a fun month. August, we have the King of Wands in reverse. There's kind of this idea with the King of Wands where you can get rewards if you do something really well, and you can be punished if you don't. If you take something the wrong way, let's put it that way. There's a lot of, you need to identify what's actually going on in the relationship that's kind of still making you push it away, even though you have these things where you're gonna help your communication, hopefully. You're gonna build a foundation. You're gonna start going on all these trips and having a really good time with this person. And then here it's like, well, why am I still kind of pushing back on it? And you need to identify that, because there's almost like this. Now, let me bring this back up. With the Ace of Pentacles, it is a gift from the universe. They're really giving you some kind of wish fulfillment, wish granted, because of the Nine of Hearts. But for some reason, you're still pushing back on it. And if you keep doing that, I think the universe might be like, well, you know what? We tried, fine. And they might just kind of take it away slowly. It's just going to be this gradual process of, you've been gradually pushing it away. Now we're going to start kind of drawing it back in. It's not like it's not the idea of we're just going to take it away because you aren't appreciative. It's, well, maybe you're just not in the right time. And I don't want to say that it's a punishment, because I don't think it is. It's just, maybe we gave it to you at the wrong time and you haven't learned yet. And it's starting to be like, why? They're really questioning, like, oh, is there a mistake made here? Like, should we have waited to give you this kind of reward, this gift, this something that's going to make you feel really good, but you don't want this good feeling, so maybe we should try again another time, is kind of what I'm picking up on. I will pull a card on it to see. Oh gosh. There we go. Oh yeah. Okay, you have, oh, and you know what? I'm going to show you this too. But you have the Tower in reverse, and usually, a lot of people are like, oh crap, the Tower is not a fun card to see, because it's usually to deal with some kind of crisis moment where you feel like nothing is going right for you. And the thing is, I don't think the tower is a bad thing, because I think it really liberates us from, here's the worst that could happen to me, and then sometimes the worst happens and we're like, actually that wasn't so bad, and you can get through it, and it shows you how strong you are. And I think that's kind of one of these moments. It's going, well, let me show you, if we kind of draw this back and this person that you're with starts to recede and kind of walk away from you because they feel a little like you're not, I don't want to necessarily say cold-shouldered, but you kind of, they just feel not a rejection, but just kind of like you don't necessarily want it. And so they're like, well, if I'm not wanted, I don't want to stick around. So they're, it's kind of, I feel like they're going to give you almost like an ultimatum, which, that's not fun. It's going to be like, well, do you want to stay together or do you not? I think that they're literally going to ask you, do you want to be with me or do you not want to be with me? Or do you want to be my friend or you not want to be my friend? Because I don't see the effort here, or something like that. And you're going to be like, oh shit, I don't want them to walk away. I don't actually want them to leave me. But the universe is trying to tell you, okay, well then keep up with it, because on the bottom of the deck, we have the Wheel of Fortune, which has everything to do with karma and destiny, and they are trying to show you that this is the path that you should be on, but you're pushing this path away. You want to walk a different path, and they don't understand why, because they're trying so hard to get you to walk this path. And it's not like they're just throwing you in the deep end. They're little nudges here and there. The universe doesn't just go, here's a bunch of stuff, figure it out, here's your puzzle, and it has, it's the back of the puzzle and you can't see the front and you have no idea how to put it together. You're just like, oh, well, maybe this goes, but you have no clue. It's not like that. It's like, here's one piece at a time, and I want you to figure out where they go and how fast you can do it at your own pace. And sometimes they do it a little faster and they throw you in a little bit, but it's for our best good. So you're going to have a moment here in July that really kind of rocks your foundation of, what do I want? I think that's what this whole reading is going to be about. You need to figure out what you want. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. Ace of Hearts. Now, we have the 10 of Hearts, we have the 9 of Hearts, you now have the Ace of Hearts. This is another gift. They are going, this is your last chance. We are literally throwing this in your face to be like, this is love. This is the love that you deserve. You are worthy. You are good enough. Please take it. Please take it. And yet it's in reverse. So you are still having a hard time coming to terms with, yes, I want love. I need love. Love is amazing. Even though it can be really difficult and hard, I still should want it because it can make me have all these amazing feelings. And you're still pushing back on it. And again, it's the fear. You have so much fear of just letting go. And here's the thing. Now, the 9 of Swords can deal with a lot of, this can also be lack of sleep. So you could be having nightmares. You can be just feeling really out of it and super tired all the time. You just feel exhausted kind of emotionally and just drained, because you're letting this fear just eat away at you instead of letting the love wash over you. It's just like, no, I'm not gonna give it anything. I'm not gonna really embrace it. I'm gonna kind of push it away, and you're almost putting up all of these little swords to keep all this love out. You're like, nope, 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 I don't really want it. I'm too afraid of what might happen, but you don't know what's gonna happen. And it's shown you through this whole thing, yes, I feel safe. I'm a little uncomfortable, but only because of my past has taught me, not because they make me uncomfortable. It's not about them. This is about you and your feelings and how that, it's just, it is eating you alive, this fear. And it's almost like paranoia, like, okay, well, they might leave me, but maybe I should just leave them first so that they can't leave me. Or maybe I should end this friendship first because but you don't want to. You really don't want to. You want to be with this person in whatever capacity it is. You really want to be with them because I think they make you feel very light. Like it's just this very breathable atmosphere. that you're just like, yeah, I do like this actually. And yet you're putting up all these walls in case that it goes wrong. And ask yourself, what if it doesn't go wrong? Tell yourself it's not going to go wrong, and you can have a better positive outlook on things and change your perspective. This is about perspective. It's, what do I want and how can I get there, instead of what's going on around me and how can I change those things, because most of the time you can't change the things around you. You can only change how you're going to view and react to those things. October, you have the Emperor in reverse. So this is all about your attitude. I think you're still having this hard time of coming to just understanding what the universe is trying to tell you. You don't get it, and I think you have really low self-esteem at this point, because I think you really are trying to understand what's going on around you, and you want to make the best of it. It's not like, oh, I'm just gonna cross my arms and pout and I don't like what you gave me. It's not about that. I think you're just having this war inside you, just building and building, and the more time it takes for you to try to calm everything down inside, the more time it's actually building up and making it worse, deeper. It's getting more of like a deeper wound rather than, oh, I just have a cut that I need to heal. It's like, no, you keep picking at it. It's like you keep picking at a scab that you have. You're just going at it and you can't quite stop, and you don't know how to stop. I'm gonna pull a card. Okay, yeah. Oh my goodness. All right, well, you have the Six of Wands, and with this card, it's usually about rising up and overcoming a challenge. And instead, I think and this is the thing, you can completely get out of these weeds and these entanglements that you've been trapped in, and you totally 1,000% have the power to do so. But instead, it's kind of like, well, I'm just going to keep looking back at all the things that I'm still caught in, instead of looking forward and trying to escape it. It's just like, well, I'm just going to stay in this little cocoon because it's what I know. And this is the Seven of Cups. And with this is all about perception. You have this illusion that it's not going to be okay, things are going to go wrong, and you need a way to get out, and you can't. It's almost like you want to get out before it actually gets good. And let's maybe not do this, because you could actually, if this wasn't reversed, you could actually build a very steady foundation and feel empowered by this. There would be this achievement, this changed attitude about yourself if you could just overcome these fears. And I get that that's really hard, because fears just gnaw at you and they keep coming back, and they're relentless. I get it. But here's the thing, you have the power to overcome those fears. This is something in your head that you just need to work on every single day. Ask yourself, how can I overcome this? Or what can I do for my best good? Stop worrying about other people and just worry about yourself, because once you worry about yourself, then you'll figure out a lot more, and then you can help other people because you've figured out things, you've experienced them, and you can be supportive of what they're going through because you've gone through it, and you can give them advice. And maybe the advice doesn't necessarily help them because everyone has to do it differently, but you can help other people after you do it yourself. So here's the thing, you can get out. I think you're just choosing not to, because you're letting that fear just take over. And instead, you don't have to. This is really just your attitude about it. Just, you have to change your perception. And I don't think you really want to. You have this, you're almost tempted to just be like, nah, and just chuck it all out the window because it's harder than you expected. If it's not hard, is it worth it? Let me ask you that. If it's not something that took you a lot of effort and a lot of time and you're really putting your all into it, when it's over, don't you just feel that insane, proud, accomplished feeling? And yet if it's something super easy, then it's like, oh yeah, whatever, and you just keep moving on. But something that you get over like this, you will remember forever, for the rest of your life, because you will be so proud of yourself for getting over it, for getting over that hump that's this obstacle in your way that you were just like, well, if I don't want to move it and I won't go around it and I won't jump over it, then I guess I'll just turn back and walk the other way. It's like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? You don't need to do that. There's so many ways to get around this. And I think it's just, well, there's an obstacle, I'm just going to stop and I'm going to turn around. But you don't have to do that. You have so much capability and so much strength to just get through it anyway. Don't walk away. Keep going. All right, now you have the Justice in November. And with this card, this is you figuring out the truth. This is you finally going, okay, yeah, I know what I want. I finally get it. I finally understand. So I think this is really going to be a turning point for you in October. And November is you going, I'm rising up. I'm willing to go for the challenge. Let's figure it out. And you're rebalancing your life. You're going to go, well, on one hand, I have this fear, and over here, I have these feelings where it could be really amazing, and you're just going to go like this. And eventually it's just going to equal out. And that fear won't be the thing that overcomes anymore. You can let other things overcome. And then you can just kind of just be like plop, and the fear just kind of goes away eventually, and you'll be left with something of a very vibrant. You're just gonna be very proud of yourself for finally accomplishing something that's taken you a long time to do. And it's not just over the course of this year, it's over the course of your entire life, that something is finally coming to an end that needed to end, which is about your fear and your self-esteem, and you're building it back up, and you're releasing your fear, and you're getting out there, and you're finally doing what's best for you. Now December, you have the Six of Pentacles, which is a good card. It means you're reaping those, you're picking up your harvest. You're finally getting those rewards for doing the work. It's finally coming to you. You're being fulfilled. You're being repaid. There's this generous energy of, wow, the universe is like, oh my goodness, you did it. And they want to celebrate that, and they want to give you something so that you can remember that, yes, you did it, and you won't forget about it, so that you can redo it again if need be. Now you have the Four of Swords, which means that, yes, you just did all this work, so you really need to kind of go back to the drawing board and think about things so that you can make the best decisions for yourself. Because this is kind of like, I just depleted a lot of my energy getting out of this. Like I was talking about, you got this war going on inside. You kind of just finished that war. Now everybody needs to go home and relax, right? You got to recharge those batteries, sit down and meditate, and go back to the drawing board of, okay, where do I go from here? And you have the Fool in reverse. Now the Fool is usually a card to say jump in, but because it's in reverse, I'm going to say don't jump in. You need to plan. You need to plan and really come up with the best. Just, where does your journey, is it starting right now, or have you already started it and this is just one of those little sit down on the bench when you're walking the path type of things, because you got to figure it out, because there's a lot of different ways that you can go. And I think this is kind of telling you at the end of the year, trust your instincts and make a plan that's best for you. You need to trust Trust yourself that you can get out of all of this and make a really good life and just, start something new and exciting, and it'll be good because you're going to get all these rewards and these benefits, and it's going to feel great. I will pull an overall card, which I forgot to do in the beginning. So I will get your overall energy for this year. Okay. We have beauty, grace, loveliness, integrity of form and spirit. This, I think, has a lot to do with your self-esteem. It's this idea of, this inner beauty. It's not about what the rest of the world sees. It's about what you see in yourself. And you're not supposed to give up on yourself. You're supposed to really have this confidence. This is what this is. Have confidence in yourself that you're going to make the right decisions because the universe is going to be helping you along the way. You have 2 aces here, which are just super positive energy, and they don't want you to throw it away. So have confidence. Next, we have the crane bag. Sacred ocean, medicine, clutter, declutter, and choice. This is about your free will. This is about going, what do I have within me that I can use to get out of this situation of having this fear? What can I use in my bag of tricks to move on? To feel like this is the journey for me. This was put in my path and I will accept it. And I accept the challenge. Give me the challenge and I will overcome it. That is what this energy is about. This is your choice though. So if you choose not to take up this challenge and you decide to come up to this obstacle and walk away from it, turn back and walk the other way rather than keep moving forward, that is your choice. That's your free will. But the universe is telling you, please don't do that. So just keep that in mind. You also have sanctuary, privacy and volatile personal space, respected boundaries and taboos. Now, with this card, I think it's saying it's kind of your recharging card. Yes, beforehand, you had this space all to yourself, and you're loving this little bathtub and you're loving the world around you, but there's still something missing, is what it's telling you. Yes, you can feel great being by yourself and it feels natural to you at this point, but it's quite frankly, it's not natural, and they want you to feel that kind of love and support that you definitely can. It's not that you have to. It's not that you need it necessarily, which from what I'm picking up, it kind of does seem like it, because it wants you to build up your self-esteem. It wants you to feel more confident, have the courage to go after things that may or may not pay off. It wants you to do that. It wants you to feel uncomfortable. This is like, I'm taking a hot bath. This is so comfortable. I feel so safe, so warm. And instead, I think the universe is trying to tell you, get out of your comfort zone. Go live in the world. Don't live in your bathroom. Sheesh. Anyway, lastly, you have Coral's wisdom, which is about colony, delicacy, fragility, works that are created over great periods of time. This is figuring out over time. This is going to take all year, just so you know, of getting over and finally finding the wisdom to be your best self, to get over that fear. This is what this card is about. This is, don't give in to the fear. People have come before you. If you need to ask for help, do it. They can give you advice. People can always give you advice. Whether you choose to listen to it or not is up to you. And some people give really crappy advice. I get it. Just walk away from those people and just be like, well, thanks. Gee, that wasn't great. But, just keep moving and maybe find someone else that can help you. But there will be someone, and they can give you some kind of wisdom to keep going. Or find out what the wisdom that you already have within you is. Like, for example, you know that you can overcome any obstacle that's in your way. And that is your wisdom. That is what you need to learn. That's what you're learning this year. You can overcome any obstacle. Okay, that is your yearly reading. Next, we're going to do your love reading. Make sure. Sorry. Oh, yep, snuck in there. Okay. Let's get the Whispers of Love deck. Okay, it does not want me to shuffle like that. Let's find out what you need to know in love. And again, love doesn't have to be romantic. It can be a friendship. It can be about a family member that you need to learn something about in terms of love. Whatever it may be, it's just kind of what you need to hear moving forward. Maybe. Oh, wait, there we go. Goodness. You have get to know each other. Learn to meet another's need for love. This is the beginning of the year when we're talking about that communication that's going on. I'm pretty sure that was April, where you had the Princess of Swords, and it's kind of like you need to communicate with each other and get to know each other so that you know, what can I do for you to help us both be our best within this relationship. It's really have those deep connective talks where you sit down, there's no distractions, and it's just like, what should I really know about you so we can see if we're the right fit. And the same goes for you. You need to tell them, like, hey, I'm kind of afraid of relationships. Maybe you can help me out with that. And, you know, it's almost like convince me that this is right for me. Because I'm pretty sure that they can. And it's just you are a very stubborn sign. I get it. I am a rising Scorpio. I can be extremely stubborn. So getting over things in our head that have been there for so long is going to take a lot longer. It's going to take a lot longer than we will expect to. It's kind of like, oh, I'm so annoyed that this is happening. Why isn't it just over yet? And it's like, well, that's because of you. So this is all about perceptions, getting to know each other, figure out what makes that person tick so they can figure out what's going on with you, and you guys can help each other move on. Now, last but definitely not least, this is a soul journey path spread that I'm going to do. And this is only for you. This is not for other people. This is not about a partner or a friend that this is going on with. This is literally only something that you need to hear for your best good, what you need to focus on the most this year. All right. Anything else? That one. All right, what you need to focus on is called Soul Gifts and Training. It's time to step up. This is the universe, the Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Hearts. They are giving you a gift and they want you to take it. Do not walk away from it. Take it. Time to step up and take it. Take on the challenge, whether I know it's going to be really hard for you, but that's okay. Take the challenge. And you also have Whale and Orca Elders. Share your song, frequency of sound, diving deep. This is about communication yet again. You need to talk with people. You need to open up. Let them in. Let them help you. Let them kind of talk you out of these fears that you have. If you can't do that yourself, maybe someone else can. Share with a friend. Share with a family member, a coworker, a stranger, somebody will be there to be like, yeah, I get it. I actually do get what you're saying, but I've gotten over it, and I'm pretty sure you can too, because you have all the capabilities that I have. So this is diving deep and getting over that fear and really sharing your story with other people, communicating that you do have fear so that they know that it just might take a little longer time for you to get into the spirit of love. Let's put it that way. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that, and looks like your year will be pretty good. You just kind of have to, in a sense, get over yourself. Okay, always be kind. Bye.